Yeah.
Welcome to The Ride with Chevy and Nasty. Host Randy Chevrier and Sheldon Napastka guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to The Ride.
Well, folks, just in case you haven't seen that one yet, that's Jack Reacher himself, Mr. Alan Ritchson, I believe it's pronounced.
Rickson.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude.
He started off, I think he started off as a model. The guy's like easily, 6'4".
Yeah.
Plus. So he's a little taller than
he's a
Tom Cruise portrayed the character in the movies a few years back. But
yeah,
a little bit of a buzz. Apparently, this week it came out that he lost it on a neighbor and beat the crap out of a neighbor. There was going to be charges pressed, but then the video is released. And dude, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, dude?
Well, when I saw it first,
just stepped out in front of him.
Yeah, when I saw it first, the first video that surfaced online was the one from inside the house, where all you saw was Alan Rickson beating up the neighbor, right? He took a couple of swings while the guy was down on all fours. You're like, what is he doing? What's going on, right? And then I saw the next video. Yeah, so there it is. You see him, Rickson, whatever, Jack Reacher. And he's giving him the full Reacher treatment. You're like, ooh, this is a bad look, right? He's a big, humongous dude. You come to see that the other two people on the motorbikes there, those are his kids that he was riding with. And you just see him pummeling this guy. And then next thing you know, the next video that I saw was interview with this guy talking about how he was attacked. Now, I don't know, Trey, do you have the video of this? Because I know there was 3 videos we were going to play in different order, but let's see. I don't know if he has the video. Well, anyways,
which video are you talking about?
The video of the guy talking about how he was beaten up and bruised, and there's a picture of him with
like the victim. Yeah. Let me pull it up 1 sec.
Yeah, let's pull up that one to show how this guy talks.
Trey's obviously calling the guy the victim.
Yeah, Trey, bleeding heart liberal.
It started on Saturday morning and I'm an experienced motorcycle rider. I've been riding bikes all my life. So from dirt bikes to street bikes and etc. But I'd heard this incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was, and I sort of flippantly said, "Guy, like he was quite a way." And I said, "Can you just slow it down, please?" And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, "You've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt." And it escalated quite quickly from there. I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. He did it again for a second time. I pushed him a second time. And I think the second time he got off his bike and it kicked the crap out of me. And you can see he hit me in the back of my head. I went to the ground and covered myself. I've had such a shitty day today, and I don't wish the guy any malice or ill will, but we just don't need people riding through neighborhoods like this. And I just decided, I'm take a stand because someone else has to, because it's going to end up way worse than it could.
Sounds like a Karen to me.
What a victim. What a victim. I guess I get it. If he truly was flying through the neighborhood, me and my next door neighbor, we used to actually be the neighborhood patrol, because you do get those kids going by with their little souped up cars and going 60 in a 50 zone and in a little cul-de-sac. That's pretty fast.
Would you jump in front of one of those cars, Sheldon?
Yeah. I've leaned into cars before.
You just jump in front of it while it's driving down the street?
Not like that. I mean, but here's the thing, because if you jump in front of something like that, you're heading for a confrontation.
Yeah.
There's only one outcome possible. There's two, I guess. The off chance I sure showed that guy and he speeds off all afraid and never comes back down the street again, but that's not going to happen.
And I mean, this Trey, what did you want to add? How much was he speeding?
He was going 20 miles an hour in the neighborhood. So I don't know.
There are motorcycles.
That
that make noise. He might have been revving while he's going. You could rev your bike while you're still traveling at a slow speed, but you got a problem, call the authorities. Call by law, put in a 311 complaint, call the police if it's that bad.
Get him on video.
But you had him on video. Yeah, you don't step in front of a motorcycle and cause the guy to potentially crash. Like, he dumped his bike. That's bullshit. Like, that's fighting. If someone steps in front of you while you're riding your bike, that is a dangerous thing. And again, the video that came, the sequence was first, the video was released from the window where you could see him beating up the guy. You're like, oh, what's going on here? Then this guy comes on the air talking about how he's an experienced motorbike rider and this guy's been riding through his neighborhood, and something starts to smell, because at no point was this guy, he have ever been in confrontation. He's like, oh, I just told the guy to slow down. But then the body cam video comes out where this idiot steps in front of the guy, pushes him, not once, but twice. What do you expect Richardson to do? And this guy thinks he stood up for himself. He's just a Karen. He's just a Karen. He's outside cleaning his bike, and he's got to make a stink, act like a big man. Yeah. And guess what? He got his ass kicked by Hawk from the Teen Titans, from the German guy. And if you've ever watched the League of Extraordinary Ungentlemanly Warfare on Amazon, great movie.
Haven't seen it.
You got to watch it. Henry Cavill, who played Superman, and Alan Richardson's in it.
So speaking of guys like Henry Cavill, if you were in that same situation, you had your Karen moment. I think everybody's probably stepped in, got mad when they probably should have held it back. I know I've done that, once or twice in my life. Most of the times I didn't regret it, but once or twice you kind of do, right? I shouldn't have said it. I look like a dick. But if you did step in there and suddenly a Hollywood badass steps off, 6'3", 235 pounds, who else would you not want to run into other than Jack Reacher? Like, can you imagine doing that? Like, Stallone's a short guy.
Yeah.
Cavill's a tall guy, though. Like,
probably not The Rock. Probably wouldn't want to get your ass kicked by The Rock. I think Tom Hardy. I mean, who's Tom Hardy? Tom Hardy plays in Peaky Blinders. He plays in he played in the Venom movies. Very good actor. I mean, he was in a couple of the fighting movies. Very good actor, Tom Hardy, and he's a high level jiu-jitsu guy. Because you've seen the clips where guys call on like UFC mixed martial arts fighters at the bar, right? Guys being a clown, picks a fight with the wrong guy. That in itself is pretty dangerous if you don't know who you're stepping in. Stepping in front of a motorbike's a bad call, because obviously it looks like he went like ass over tea kettle, right? Front brakes, dump the bike. Yeah, and back to this case though, like, Did the guy have deserve what he had coming from Rickson? Like did he deserve the little bit of a pounding he took? Because he did take a bit of a pounding. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this guy, Rickson's going to get in trouble. But again, Tennessee police, I guess, side with common sense. Like, step in front of a motorcycle, knock a guy off, and find out. What's that expression? Fuck around, find out. Well, British guy did.
Yeah.
And you know what? Glad he did. Sheldon, we'll get to the poem in a second. We got a big show tonight. People don't know, but we got a great guest tonight. We got a guy that he's been to our mental health movie night a couple of times. So he's going to be there on Monday. Dino Mariani. For those of you who don't know Dino Mariani, he owns Canmore River Adventures. I believe I got that right. And Canmore River Adventures is a company that runs whitewater rafting out there. But more importantly, Dino has a story to share. Dino and his family were victims of a terrible tragedy in Calgary. 16 years ago, his brother was murdered by neo-Nazis just in the northwest of the country.
And Chevy's off the air. I saw that thing stuttering. I don't know.
Yeah, that was.
I saw that thing coming for the last 5 minutes. But yeah, we've got awesome. How do you say his last name? So we've got Dino Mariani coming on tonight. And this one blew my mind, guys, because I don't know, Trey, if you knew the story going into this, but my wife and I have watched like the true crime series on this case. And he's got like a horrible story to tell. A couple of neo-Nazis killed his brother, wrong place at the wrong time. It had nothing to do with like racial profiling or anything like that, but just a couple of guys that we really don't need on the streets of Calgary and probably shouldn't have been on the streets of Calgary that took the life of his brother. So we're gonna have him on in the second, and he's got quite the story to tell.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on with my internet. That kind
yell at your boys. I was about to text you to tell you.
No, I got no kids here. There's no one here. It's just me and my computer. So
yeah,
yell at Rogers.
Yeah. So second segment, guys, you got to stick around for this guy. He's got an amazing story to tell. My wife and I watched the documentary. I was just telling him, Chev, and what a guy and what a perspective that's given him on life and what he does now. But have some Kleenexes available and. This one's going to be quite a ride here in the second.
Well, we'll keep it light. We'll keep it light still till we get to Dino, and it's probably could be light too. There's some uplifting moments. We're going to talk about that, but the most uplifting part of your week is how we managed to put together 6 stanzas of rhyming goodness for all our riders here on the ride. So, Trey, hit the splitter.
And now, 300-pound poetry with Chevy and Nasty.
Chevy and Nasty, the rhymes coming hot. We got 2 mics, big waistlines, and locker room stories. Some we've forgot.
They said Chuck Norris rests in peace. Yeah, right. Nice try. It's the peace that rests in Chuck. That Texas Ranger don't die.
While Kelsey resigned with the Chiefs, it was a little to our surprise. Then the Seahawks signed Smith Enigma. Did I say that right? The contract size don't even compare in size.
Who's Canada's best sports franchise? The debate online is real. Many fan bases claim supremacy, but it's the rings that seal the deal.
At LaGuardia Airport, chaos, and Sunday, death struck as an Air Canada jet collided with a fire truck.
Now the 300-pound poets sit with their rhymes locked in tight. We'll talk sports and mental health, but still try to keep it light. Sheldon, it's Njigba.
Njigba. That's so hard. It's a hard one to say, and you read it, and you're about to say that name wrong.
Well, at least he didn't mess up like on the ESPN awards. The one guy, wow. I think he called him the N-word, and that didn't work.
You got to call it how it felt.
Don't be a Drewski. I don't even know what that means. Is that the guy who messed up the name? I guess so. Sounds like
welcome back, everybody. Episode 118. Hey, Ernie and Diane, we see you there in Regina. Thanks for joining us tonight. Reagan Colbert, good to see you, buddy. And as always, Jamin is on. I hear Jamin might be actually reffing a little flag football tonight, so he's jumping in between plays. So
he'll jump in. Sheldon, you used to love Chuck Norris. I remember when we used to do the the show on the Fan 960 back in the days when it was the Chevy and Nasty show, you used to love the Chuck Norris memes. And last week we got sad news. First of all, that Chuck Norris was rushed to a hospital in Hawaii. But then shortly thereafter, we heard that he died. In fact, he had died when they reported that he was rushed to the hospital. The family just wanted to take some time to kind of grieve and deal with the loss. But, you know, I grew up on Chuck Norris movies, Sheldon's. You did too. Delta Force, Missing in Action. I mean, those are some of the great movies of the 80s. And he's made quite the career for himself, for a revival during the Walker Texas Ranger days. Sheldon, what do you got to say about this? Because I know he was near and dear to your heart.
The guy was just a literal icon. And you know what I'd really like to know is how the whole Chuck Norris thing became a thing.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like he was at the action figure before action figures were really big. Yeah. I mean, he's a little bit older than Sly. He's a little bit older than Arnold. And
in fact, he looks like the original G.I. Joe. Like if you ever had one of the, like I have two older brothers, so they had the original G.I. Joes. You know, the 1 foot tall ones
with the parachutes and all that
that
stuff.
actually had hair on them. And like the beard on the G.I. Joe looks exactly like this picture of Chuck right here. Like he was a G.I. Joe. And in Delta Force, when he made those movies and Missing in Action, I mean, he was like a one-man killing machine. Yeah. You know, before Arnold, he was kind of sitting right between, Charles Bronson and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he was the man there for a while. And
that's exactly what he sat between Charles Bronson and Arnold and Rambo and all that stuff. But
and Stallone, he was big.
Yeah, no,
so
that
Sheldon,
was you knew it was going to happen, but that's something. I mean, I don't know. Do we take a minute to read through some of the best of the Chuck Norris jokes of the year? Like Chuck Norris can divide by zero. When the boogeyman goes absolutely to sleep, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Did you have any favorites that stand out to you?
Well, I loved all of them. I know that you used to bring them up to the show every week.
Chuck Norris once kicked a horse in the chin. His descendants are now Chuck known Norris as giraffes. Did you know that
Chuck
one?
Norris hit 11 out of 10 targets.
Yeah.
No, he had some good ones. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked nothing and told it to get a job. That's a good one.
Yeah, there you go.
Since 1940, the year Chuck Norris was born, roundhouse kick related deaths have increased 13,000%.
Chuck Norris once threw a grenade and killed 50 people. Then it exploded.
Chuck Norris's roundhouse kick is so powerful it could be seen from outer space by the naked eye.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
The title for Mission Impossible was originally set in Chuck Norris's house.
Dude, yeah. No, I love that guy. I swear to God, though.
I have like 40 I'm putting on for you guys.
I know.
Okay.
It's hard, Trey. I got to lean into
Chuck Norris can cut through a hot knife with butter. Yeah, that's a good one, Trey. What else you got there?
When Chuck Norris does a push-up, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down. Yes, sir.
Chuck Norris was once arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. He was wearing only a towel.
Chuck Norris has a diary. It's called the Guinness Book of World Records.
Chuck Norris doesn't dial the wrong number. You answered the wrong damn phone.
I use a stunt double for crying scenes.
Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience.
Yeah. What does it say? When there's a meteor shower, Chuck Norris grabs a bar of soap. Oh, dude. There's lots. Trey's just keeping it pub. Okay, let's read a couple.
There you go. Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door.
A cop pulled me over once. I let him go with a warning.
Chuck Norris can kill 2 birds or 2 stones with 1 bird.
Oh my God,
Trey, you were doing a little bit of reason. He's got a picture for each of them too. Yeah, I get why Trey was pissed that we weren't like reading. That's some good work there, Trey.
Well, it's hard. There's so many online. There's like a million.
Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the crap out of it.
And finally, the flu gets a Chuck Norris shot every year.
When Chuck Norris attends a feminist rally, he comes back with an iron shirt and a sandwich. That's a good one to end on.
Oh, geez. Guys, we got a great show. We're going to get to our guest pretty quick here. Again, Monday. Part of the reason we brought this guest on is because next Monday, March 30th, is our father-son movie night for the mental health movement. Performance Freight Management is the one that brings you that. It's at the Cochrane Movie House. Trey, if you could put the poster up, we'll make sure that we can get everyone. You can get your tickets. You make sure to RSVP. So you can email Daryl at performancefreightmanagement.com, or you can scan the QR code up on the screen there. Again, it's going to be a great night. Free food. There's going to be speakers. Brett Gardner, Keon Raymond. We're ending the night off with a screening of Top Gun Maverick, a great movie. And it's going to be at the Cochrane Movie House, one of the most charming movie houses out there. I love going there. I love seeing Hal. Great to come out and support the night. It's going to be a great, great night. Bring your son, bring your dad, bring someone you love, and come and join us. It's good, but you have to RSVP. There's still some seats. And when we get back, we'll take a little break. We'll bring Dino on, and Dino's going to be joining us at the father-son movie night. He's got a great story to share, and we love to support great stories, and we're going to have a great conversation. That's what the ride's all about. So when we get back, we'll bring on Dino.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Got that last sip in, hey?
Sure did. Couldn't quite finish it, but it's getting cold. So
It's like what was that? Coffee?
no, it's just like a fruity herbal tea. It's kind of a nice come down at the end of a long day. Something warm, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Trey, what's that QR code? Is that the QR code for the mental health movie night that you got up there? I'm not sure what that one is with the bird there.
Yeah, it's the same code as the one for Daryl.
Okay. Well,
I like the duck.
I like the duck, but it did cover the performance freight management. So we should mention that we should mention that we're brought to you each week by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and that you can find us on all social media platforms and where you get your podcasts, and also part of the Sideline Sports Network. Go check them out. A lot of good shows there, including the Rubio Show, Rubio Method, AC Sports Live. There's a Hawk Talk. Trey's going to like that. Hawk Talk with our buddy Dave DeRoche. And lots of other shows coming on board. But right now, when we talk about our show, we always talk about great stories, sparking great conversations, and that's the ride. And we always talk about how we want to get not just sports and talking about Chuck Norris and talking about laughing and, Hollywood stars beating the crap out of Karens, but something with some meat on the bone. And I think our next guest definitely brings that. We talk so much about mental health, especially this time of year where we have our event coming up. And our next guest, Dino Mariani, joins us from Calgary. He's got a business based in Canmore, but he lives in Calgary and he kind of does the commute. But so he runs his business. So Dino, let's get him on the show. Trey, Dino, welcome to the ride with Chevy and Nasty.
Hi, fellas. Thanks for having me out.
It's great to have you, Dino. Great to have you. So tell us a little bit. I started off the business, the Canmore Rafting Adventure. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, it's a small adventure company based out of Canmore, like you guys were saying. We do our main tour is we do some guided float trips on the Bow River between the bridge in Canmore and the Three Sisters Bridge, and then we take people on guided hikes, guided biking tours. We take people all over national park, all over the provincial parks, and yeah, we give people kind of an adventure that's self-propelled, and we hopefully people can find something fun and enjoyable and kind of take a break for a couple hours. Yeah.
What would you say, Dino, is the ratio of your, I guess, local Alberta tourists versus international? Because Canmore, Banff, I mean, you got people coming from all over the world. Like, do you see more international people or is it local? What's kind of the ratio for you? Is it 50-50?
No, I'd say it's a good 80 to 85% are from the US.
Okay.
And then another 15% around the world, and a really small percentage of people local. I mean, obviously COVID was a little bit different, but yeah, it's definitely a large percentage that comes out of the States, and mostly like Florida, so Atlanta, kind of the hotter states. So yeah, mostly US.
Has any of the political tension in the last couple of years, especially in the last year, affected your business? I know it affects Canadians going down to the States now. You hear the stories of how, Las Vegas is having to offer some hotels at par. They were really trying to draw Canadians back. But is there that same, I guess, are the Americans kind of slowing down their travel to Canada, or are they still coming?
No, they're still coming. I don't think they really care about the politics and in the whole environment and stuff. And you got to remember, these are people that have booked their trips 2 years, maybe 3 years in advance, and they've been waiting for years to come to the national parks or to Canmore, to the Rocky Mountains. So nothing really stops them. They're the most amazing people. They're super polite, and they just enjoy being there, and they can't believe the scenery that they get to see. Yeah.
You know what I love about it too? I was on your website earlier, and sir, I called it the Rafting Adventures. It's a Canmore River Adventures. But I'm looking at your staff here, and you've got Caitlin, who's an Aussie, and you've got Ben, who's from the UK. You got Caitlin Catoni, who's like a local girl.
Yeah.
But you really are attracting those international people. How do you find your employees, or do they find you?
Mostly they find me. It's one of the hardest things to do in Canmore is to find good staff. Pretty much the housing issues have taken a beating on local staff. So in the past, like over COVID and in that kind of time frame there, it was really, really hard to find staff. And now I'm starting to see the international students come back and the, some of the people that have been traveling in Canada for the last couple of years. So it's mostly word of mouth. So we have 7 staff this year, and 3 of them are from referrals from staff that were out in the last couple of years.
And so Frankie's still doing good?
What's that?
And Frankie's still doing good?
Yeah, she is. She's such a sweetheart. She's the highlight. She gets better reviews than I do. I mean, people, the big joke is that someone will leave a review and it'll say, we had an amazing time. Francesca was so sweet. What a little pup. And then the guide, yeah, he was okay too.
Yeah. Just for those of you that haven't checked out the website yet, Francesca, or Frankie Mariani, is your little fur baby. Havanese. What breed is that?
Havanese. Yeah.
Havanese.
Yeah.
And
if I'm not mistaken,
second to you in terms of trips down the river. So that's pretty awesome that you got the pup involved in the company as well.
Yeah. And she was at our movie night last year, right? Is that correct?
She was. Yeah, she was, and when you see the video, she's in there a couple of times. Yeah,
she's featured prominently. So Dino, why and how? Why get involved with a mental health movement? Like, people don't know you. People didn't even know you were coming on today because we put this on pretty much together. That you're the Canmore River Adventures guy. Great business, but why the mental health night? Like, give us an insight. We kind of teased it a little bit before we told people what's going on, but tell us a little bit about your perspective of why this is important. Yeah.
Well, I mean, my guiding career has put me in positions where there's been some serious rescues, and I've had a really bad accident on the river myself years ago. So that was always kind of in the forefront of what I do and how it's affected my career, was dealing with these accidents and these sort of traumatic events. And then, and most people that live in Calgary will know that back in 2010, my brother was murdered by two white supremacists. And at that time, it was obviously it's a major shock and life-changing event that happened to our family, and it's been a struggle. And so the struggle with mental health and dealing with the trauma and yeah, and I see the picture up there of Billy and I, and just dealing with all of that. And outdoors has been my, not escape, it's been my healing part. And I've always used the outdoors, and I've tried to guide people, with that thought in mind about everyone has a story, and everyone's has had a trauma at some point in their lives. And yeah, it's something that's really important to me because it's something that I struggle with, but also I try to help other people, and that helps heal me.
So, and that's one of the things I know. My wife and I were, especially my wife, really into true crime shows and dramas, and kind of taking us to the kind of live through the stories of other people. But I remember the story of your brother when it happened, and then again when my wife and I watched. I can't remember if it was the Global one or the CBC one, and I remember walking. Yeah, and I remember walking away from that thinking. It was posed as two white supremacist guys, and they're trying to figure out what the motives might be, and a lot of police work had to come into it. And at the end of the day, it was a pointless murder of your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember walking. Of the hundreds of episodes of things that I've watched, I remember that feeling of this happened in Calgary, and some poor family is left with no good answer for why it happened. What does that do to a guy? In terms of your relationship with your parents, your siblings, your nieces, your brothers and sisters, and I mean that's got to be a lot for a person to process.
For sure. And the honest truth is that my mom waited until, this is what I think, my mom waited until after the trials were done, and then she lasted maybe a year after that before she passed away. I don't think my dad can really comprehend everything that's gone on, and it hurts him, and I can see the pain in his eyes, but I don't know if he truly understands. And then you look at my siblings, so my sister and my brother that are left, it's fractured their lives, and I know it has, and they're dealing in their own way. And my sister's an amazing woman, and she's got such an amazing family and a support system, and my brother as well. But it's been really tough on them. And then my nephews and my niece, nobody needs to have a childhood where they're affected like that, and they'll never be able to have a normal childhood growing up, because of what's happened. Their life is completely shaped by the events of October 2010. Yeah.
And it's so uncontrollable. It's, everybody looks to control outcomes in their life. We crave for security, we crave routine, and something like this comes and rocks it. You've mentioned that, for you, the outdoors, your guiding, your physical activity, that's helped you find center, find balance, find peace. Has any of that, like your own experiences, have you been able to kind of impart that with your own family? You mentioned your brothers and family members managing it in their own way. Has any of your strategies helped them, or is it one of those things where everybody really trying to find what works for them?
Well, I think, in the beginning, it was sort of, I felt like I needed to be, because I had seen these major events in my life, in my career, I felt like I needed to step up and be as strong as possible, even though I'm the youngest in the family. And I know they couldn't understand it at that time, and everybody played their part and everybody did their things to kind of stay close together. But I felt like I needed to I needed to, like, I felt like I needed to try and look after everyone, and not everyone needed it. And then as we went forward a couple of years later, we actually, we kind of started getting together and bonding a little bit closer and staying closer. There was fear, there was unknown, there was a whole bunch of things that were happening in that time frame. But we tried to stick together as much as possible. And then, everybody kind of finds their own path. I've always, brought my family out on the river. I've always tried to include them in not in a purposeful, like, healing way, but just include them in my adventures. And I've been doing that for 25, 30 years, and just getting them out there. And I know what it does for me, and I know that when they come out, and I know that when we can spend time out there, that it has an effect on them. And even to the point now where my sister's talking about doing some they call it forest bathing, and that's essentially what I've been doing for 20 years. And
what's that term again, Dino? Forest?
They call it forest bathing. And it's, from what I understand, it's immersing yourself in nature and letting nature kind of soothe you and walk you through it. And, it really is a powerful thing. And, that's where people can find their center and take their shoes off and, feel the ground beneath their feet. And that nature doesn't care about anything. It just, it exists, and it continues on. And, you feel small, but you also feel precious at the same time, I think. So
I remember one of my favorite experiences was heading up to Waskesiu National Park in northern Saskatchewan with my best friend from high school. And when you're walking through those forests, you feel the trees are breathing at you, right? And you just, when you're in the city and you're running around for your jobs and appointments and, whatever it is, you don't get that same connection as you do just being out there and just being almost humbled by how small you are and how big and great nature is. But if you don't mind, I don't want to ask like the tough questions.
No,
the thing that sticks with me is this: you've got a great attitude. Everything I've seen, every interview I've seen is great. But the hurt that it leaves with a family after one, you lost your brother for senseless reasons. Then you have to, in our judicial system, people are up for parole every few years, and they can challenge sentences. And it really is up to the families to be involved, to be at those court cases, and really make a stand for your brother, to say, no, I don't want this to get swept under the rug. I don't want the sentence reduced. I don't want them to have parole on their first day out there. Does that get easier over, from 2013 when the guys were sentenced to it is now, or is it still hard every time you have to deal and are brought back to the original crime?
After the trials, there was only one trial. The other guy pled guilty. He'll never get out. But after the trial of this guy, we kind of, and it was a guilty verdict. So there was kind of almost a bit of relief, and we knew we would have a certain amount of time until the parole started to come out, until that issue was brought up. What we've realized is that it's brought us right back to day one, and it's like getting those daggers again, and we have to see it again. We have to fly out to Victoria to actually attend the hearings, and you sit 6 feet away from the person, and it really is, they say things like death by 1,000 cuts, and this isn't death by 1,000. This is like stabbing 100 times.
And so you're being re-victimized every time you go to one of these hearings, right? And it's like, no matter what, all the work you've done, it just, like you said, brings you back. And yet they're trying to convince the world that this person is not a threat anymore, but yet his very existence is a threat to you, your well-being, your family's well-being, and the mental health. And again, not asking you to say, like, how does the system do this, but it must feel, a lot of us see these situations, think our system's broken. You're living in the broken system. How do you manage that when you go home after one of these and trying to just be like, wow, this was ridiculous?
The only thing you can do is say your piece and be there and stand up to it. And I hate bullies. I honestly hate that. And that's what this person is. But the system is what it is. And the only thing that we can do as family, or what the victim's family can do, is show up every time.
Mhm.
And that's what my brother would have done if it were me. And, you know, there's definitely some frustration there. We've had some really interesting experiences with the actual parole board members. But there's nothing we can do. We realize that, other than show up and say our piece. And, you know, and standing, you know, my sister described at one of the parole hearings, she said, when I stood up to speak my impact statement, she said, you were levitating. You were literally vibrating, and everyone in the room could feel it. And that's what I wanted. I wanted all that pain, all that anger. I wanted all that frustration, and I wanted all of that to come out and be directed towards that person.
Mm.
And that, for me, that was almost, I needed to go through that. I needed to get that out of my body. And we find that after each one of these parole hearings, that we were there, it's a month or two, or maybe even 3 months before we feel like things are back to normal. You know, even my staff has mentioned that, you know, I've come back after a parole hearing and I'm a different person, and I don't engage with them the same way. And,
Right.
you know, I don't see it, but I understand what they meant.
Yeah. So let me ask, one of the things I did when I heard we we're getting you on tonight is I did a bit of I couldn't do a deep dive, but I really wanted to take a look at adrenaline type sports, going on whitewater, doing something that gets the blood pumping. Because I had a family member very close to me that went through a deep depression in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we found was trying to reset, just try to do that mental reset as often as you could, to snap out of the traumatic spot, to try to like move forward. And I started thinking that, you know what, a trip down some white water could definitely do that. Talk to me a little bit about how you can use adrenaline to overcome trauma, to snap you out of that funk that I imagine a lot of anxiety and depression kind of gets fueled into a lot of these experiences. How can a person, how can you combine what you do for the purposes of like just overcoming some trauma and grief?
Well, I think I mean, we can talk football, right? Like, you know, some of the best healing parts when as a younger person in my early 20s and stuff was coaching, and that adrenaline part of, you know, coaching and the team experience, and you guys completely understand that. So yeah. Moving forward to this, it's putting people in a position where they're uncomfortable. They step outside their comfort zone. And that's what I've kind of trained to do. And that's what I've experienced over the years, is taking people out of their comfort zones and putting them in a position where they don't know if they're safe, or they don't know if they're comfortable. And it's that when you can let go and you can step over the line and be uncomfortable and push yourself and take that one more little step that you were scared the hell out of you. Then once you've done it, then you look back and go, wow, okay, I'm a different person than I was. And now I can handle the next challenge and the next challenge. And it's about those little baby steps of pushing people beyond their limits, and then letting them figure out, you know, where they are now, what kind of person are they going to be going ahead. So yeah, well, it's totally that.
I also got to believe, and I haven't, like, you know, like you said, everybody has a story to tell and everybody's had their journeys. Not many people have had to experience, I think a lot of people experience unexpected loss, but not in this fashion. Right. And, you know, you talk about going through those court cases and the appeals and all that stuff, and really being almost re-traumatized again as you have to relive it. You know, I think doing something that surprises you or scares you, but there's a side of me that says the same thing. Like when you run down the field on kickoff coverage and you're like running for your life, and there's this big dude that's trying to take your head off from a 45-degree angle. You get down and make the play. It breaks you out of everything that you had before this, a bad day, a bad week, the fear of getting caught or whatever the case may be. Something's to be said for just getting out there and doing something great that just gets you out of that mindset where you're locked in to that real dark zone. And I think it takes a traumatic incident to get you out of that almost. And I wonder, like, jump out of an airplane, go down a class 5 rapids, like, you know, like feel that near death experience but in a completely protected standpoint.
And it makes you realize that, it's not just you. You're just a small part of that environment. And when you can let go and you can just trust that, you're going to make it through, and you got to put the trust in yourself. Right. And I think that's part of the healing part too, is when you go through trauma, is you got to trust yourself, and maybe you trust someone else, and maybe it's the guide on the raft. And, sometimes you just have to let go and let people in and let people help you and let them take you on that journey. And then once you're on the other side, then you go, okay, so I can do this, and I can go.
And Dino, that's a great point, because I think when we talk about what we try to accomplish with our live events, like we did the men's movie night last year that you attended, and then the father-son, it's about connection. It's about stories. It's about helping others through stuff. You mentioned before Billy. People might not know your connection with Billy. Tell us a little bit about Billy, because I think that fellowship, that guiding, you're not just guiding people down the river, you're guiding people through experiences and helping them out on the other side. Like you said, to help them know that, hey, it's not so bad on the other side. And I think this really plays into what we're trying to accomplish with our men's nights, where people are encouraged to open up, encouraged to explore what's in them, and encouraged to speak out. Like tell us a little about Billy, because I don't know if Sheldon knows about Billy.
I don't know about Billy. I've never heard about Billy.
Yeah.
So it was after our trials were done. So the story is, Billy's sister was living with a caregiver, and the caregiver's son came home and murdered the mother and Billy's sister.
And her name was Julie Tran, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Julie Tran and Billy Tran. And he's on one of the pictures that Trey put up earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was actually Nancy Hicks and I we were talking about it, and I saw the story on TV, and I can't remember if I reached out or if Nancy reached out, and we both said, Billy's struggling. And I think she was telling me that she had some conversations with him, like she had talked to our family after we were in the courts. And so she said, this young fella is really struggling. Would you mind connecting with him? And I reached out, and we had numerous coffees and talks. And I think our first one was supposed to be, a 15-20 minute like intro, just to kind of get to each other. And it turned into a 4-hour talking session. I saw him struggle, and I saw him go through the exact same things I had gone through. And, we talked for hours, and I really tried to stay in touch with him and keep him close to me, and tried to help him. And he'll reach out every once in a while and kind of revisit, where he's at these days. And I did get a text a little while ago, and it said, "Hey, Dino, this is Billy." And, I wasn't sure if it was a Billy I knew from work or if it was a Billy Tran, and I reached back out and haven't heard anything. So it was, for me, it was trying to give back to all the people that helped us, and all the people that supported us when we were going through some of our darkest hours. And I really tried to reach out to Billy, because I didn't want him to struggle and have to go through those questions alone. And I know he didn't have the family support. I know his father and his mother couldn't have helped him out as much as anyone. So it was really trying to look after him the way other people have kind of helped our family out.
Well, that's amazing that you talk about when you're in the courts and you're experiencing all those feelings and emotions, and you're kind of just getting them out, and you want that person to hear that. But on the flip side, you took all the healing that you had, that you needed for yourself and for your family and the people that you love and that love you, but you were also able to help someone else that might be going through it. And I think, again, no greater connection to the things that we try and do, because again, oftentimes we'll have a guest like yourself, or sometimes we talk about suicide. That's a big epidemic with men. When we talk about mental health, it's huge. And we often have people reach out after we have a guest like you to tell us how impactful that was and how to help them. Or even at our men's movie nights, like guys that I remember the first one we did, where we didn't even know if we'd have 100 people in the room. Guys reached out afterwards that I didn't think would even, first of all, wouldn't even show up. And then all of a sudden, they give you the, "Hey, really, thanks for that." Like, yeah. And not that I said anything, but thanks for setting it up so that we could be in a room where we could hear someone's
it's
say
the
something.
conversations that happen in the room when you get a bunch of guys that hardly know each other together, and you realize just how many stories there are to tell and how connected everybody really is, right?
Yeah.
So if people come on Monday, they're going to come early. They're obviously coming to the father-son movie night in Cochrane Movie House. You're going to be there early. You're going to set up a table. They can come and meet Frankie as well. What can they do when they meet you? Can they sign up to go rafting? Can me, Sheldon, and Trey get some GoPros in the summer when the water's a little warmer and go down and basically film our adventure down the river? Because we're trying to get Trey to do a whole bunch of things. Like we want him to go to Keon Raymond's football camp. We want to shoot him out of a cannon. We want him to be on this land of Cessna. Yeah, all these things. But we think if all of us go in a whitewater rafting with you, I think that would be a cool one to capture, and it'd be fun. So what can people expect when they come to talk to you on Monday?
Well, I mean, we can talk about the company. We can talk about all our adventures. Of course, they can say hi to Frankie, pick her up and kind of hang out with her. And then if there's anything I can offer, like if I can offer some advice or chat with them about maybe some of the things they're going through and relay my story. And, they can do that kind of stuff and kind of get that kind of resource, or ultimately they can just come and hang out with us out on the river. And I say this with a little bit of trepidation, but if someone's struggling and they're suffering and they can't afford it, or their family's really getting, life's kicking them down a lot, they can just come out and come for free with us, and we'll take them on an adventure and treat them right and give them something happy, at least for an hour or two. And they can walk in the woods with us, go for a hike, they can go for a bike ride, they can go, on any of the things that we do, an inflatable kayak tour. So if you guys come out, definitely 100% we'll be on the raft. We'll take you down. You guys guide the raft. I'll just sit and watch and talk with Trey. We'll do some.
Trey, can you put up the picture from the thumbnail to show them this is what it would look like? Put up the thumbnail that we created for the show today. I don't know if Trey can get that on this quick, but yeah, we created a thumbnail.
I think what you're going to see is it looks like Trey already fell out. That he was supposed to be guiding us and he just took off. But,
we can put Trey in the guiding seat and let him pull the oars if he wants.
There you go.
Yeah, like that's what it's gonna look like.
That's what it's gonna. Yeah, and that's the full size raft right there, and that's pretty much what it's gonna look like for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna spread the word between now and the summer about Canmore River Adventures. I look forward to seeing you again here on which Monday is that coming? Next week? Is it next?
This Monday.
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, there you go. It's on the 30th. Yeah. It's coming up real fast here, guys.
Dino, I couldn't thank you enough. One, for reaching out to me last year. It's funny. You said, hey, last year when you reached out to me, I actually didn't know your family story. And Sheldon, I've mentioned this, but I sat next to your nephew every day during training for firefighting, Nick. Nick is a quiet guy. The only redheaded Italian I know. And one of my great friends from the fire department, and I had no clue. I met his dad, who was a firefighter, and I had no clue. And when you mentioned it, you said, you probably know what happened with my family, and I'd love to come to your event. And you kind of just, I felt really shameful because I didn't know all this, and I researched and for you to reach out and to come and be part of our event and just be a voice for your perspective and your experience. I truly appreciate that you did this, because not only did it lead to a great event last year and meeting you, but this tonight, you coming on and sharing your story, not just of the tragedy, but how you found a way to move fast and move beyond and find strength and purpose in life. I read what you said in your bio. You said, if you told your staff, if the people coming to visit us don't leave offering you a place to stay back in their country and a hug, we're not doing our job. And I love that. I love that. That should be everyone's business philosophy, right? So thank you, Dino, for coming tonight. I look forward to seeing you again on Monday for sure.
Fellas, I appreciate it. I appreciate you bringing me on. Without you guys doing this, we're not having this conversation. So really kudos to you guys and supporting the whole mental health night for men and everything that you guys do. I'm blessed because I get to hang out with you guys and get to know some amazing guys. And, you know, if our stories or our talk here help somebody, even if we just help one person, we're doing the right thing. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much, you guys.
Yeah.
And I'll see you guys on Monday, and so will Frankie.
Looking forward to it. That's Dino Mariani with Canmore River Adventures, guys. Yeah, I could see a couple of guys trips being planned for the summer for sure.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you on Monday night.
Thanks, fellas.
All
Have a
right.
great night.
See you, Dino. Thank you.
So we're going to take a quick break now. So time to grab yourself a quick snack, quick pee.
Let's throw up the poster one more time so they can know when it is. If they didn't think they were going to go before, well, they can definitely go now. For those of you listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on the audio version, just RSVP to Daryl at performancefreightmanagement.com. I wonder how many we're sitting at. I know earlier last week we were at about 130, maybe 140 people. We have space for 200. Typical Calgary fashion, people are going to start RSVPing like gangbusters in the next few days. But if you want to get to the event, you want to meet Dino. You want to come and see Chevy and Nasty, Daryl, Trey's a superstar now. And then you get, you know, the good word from Brett Gardner and Keon Raymond, and then Top Gun Maverick with all the food, all the snacks. Guys, you got to RSVP. We'd love to see you there. I think it's going to be a great night. And again, it's happening this coming Monday, March 30th. So yeah, we'd love to see you there. Sheldon, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. You know, we don't speak very much. We don't text very much, but somehow we managed to wear the same color shirt on a Tuesday night live, which is crazy. How did you know?
I got people checking in on you and telling me what I should be wearing every night.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you look sharp, buddy. You look sharp. Yeah, let's take a break, like you said, and then we'll come back. We'll wrap this thing up. Good job.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Most people see us at work.
In uniform. Focused. Professional.
We're also dads. We are sons.
Friends. And sometimes we struggle too.
At Village Honda, we believe strength isn't staying silent. It's showing up, it's checking in, it's asking the question, are you okay? We're proud to support the men's mental health movement and to be part of changing the way men support each other. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey, quick one. If you're a dad and you've got a son, this is something worth paying attention to. There's an event coming up called Father and Sons Movie Night. And honestly, it's more than just a movie. It's about creating space for conversations that most of us were never taught how to have. Growing up, a lot of us didn't talk about how we felt. We just got on with it, kept things in, figured it out on our own. And the truth is, a lot of us still do. But that's exactly what this night is trying to change. It's a chance to sit side by side, watch something meaningful, and maybe open the door to a conversation that wouldn't normally happen. No pressure, no spotlight, just a space where it's okay to be real. Because if we can start having these conversations earlier, we give our sons something most of us didn't have. If that resonates with you even a little bit, it's worth showing up.
Sheldon.
Welcome back. It's a ride with Chevy and Nasty. Chevy almost wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I made it. I just wanted to tell you this update. Chuck Norris beat the Sun in a staring contest.
Yeah, dude. Not surprised.
He also made a Happy Meal cry. I could do this all night.
Yeah.
But how good was that? How good was that? I mean, I know we didn't announce it. We got a full segment there with Dino. Sometimes that's how the ride goes. You wake up at 5 a.m. and you think, who would be a great guest for the show tonight? And then you just kind of make the calls.
And I feel a little bad. Like this is a hard one too, because we know Dino a little bit from through Darrow and the men's mental health night. This story was a great tragedy in Calgary.
Absolutely.
And I have watched the documentary. I've read a lot on what happened that day. And it was horrible, guys. And I didn't want to go through and maybe we could have set up the story a little bit better than what we did.
Yeah, but you know what?
But I encourage you guys. You guys now know Dino. Look it up. There's some great stuff out there about what him and his family went through. But the way that he's turned that around and are still going through. In fact, we didn't even talk about one of the guys was just released
granted day parole.
In
Victoria. And that's got to be a stunning thing. I mean, you think of all the tragedies that have happened in Calgary. You talk about the Brentwood murders a few years ago. That was made national headlines with the kids in Brentwood and that person trying up for parole and this again for me. It puts a very real face to a story that you could otherwise read and then hear a headline here and there. But, we see it once in a while that he's living it, right? And his family's living it.
You know what got me the most from that? And it made me really think. After you go through all that stuff, you hope that it brings the family together. But the truth is at times you just want to sink, And so I love that. Like he said, hey, I'm the youngest. But I feel like maybe I need to do something to help bring people together. And if you don't have people trying to get the family together and keep the family together after that kind of trauma, it's pretty easy to start seeing people like just drop off and those weekly calls turn into yearly calls.
Well, and even he mentioned his mom, right? I think about, old Sylvia. I mean, I come from an Italian family and he's an Italian family and, the way Italians process things differently. I know that perspective. And when he was saying that, I think my mom hung on to make sure everything was done in the trial. And then she wasn't, that's like the purpose, to see it through, to see it finish. And, but it is tough. Like, and again, he did such a masterful job where I'm so grateful that he came on. He agreed to tell his story. And sort of just kind of going through not just the bad stuff, but even like what he's done, how he's transformed it into an experience for others that are going through tough times. Because it's not just what he's gone through. We always talk about people going through things, whether we talk about suicide, people losing family members in car wrecks, cancer, like, and how that affects you. Like any number of things can affect you and give you that negative mental health space, especially when it comes to losing a loved one, no matter how you lose that person. Like,
I'll tell you what, I agree with you totally, but I'm going to disagree with you here. You've got one person to blame. And that's the thing that makes it hard.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just throw up your hands and say, well, it was his time. It wasn't his time.
No, absolutely. Right? Yeah. You definitely have someone to blame. Absolutely.
And you know what else gets me here? I'm asking you.
Go ahead.
I should have asked him. What is that like to know this guy's about to be on the street? Because I know what's going through my mind right now.
Oh, yeah.
If I could have the person that was responsible for taking my dad, which was just health.
Yeah.
But if that person was back out there again, everybody's thinking those thoughts. What would I do if I ever ran into the guy on the street? Right?
You'd be Alan Rickson, but a little bit hardcore.
I don't know what I do. I do. I'm not trying to say like I'm talk tough about it, but dude, I don't know what I do in his shoes. I don't know.
No, it's definitely hard. But again,
Jeff,
I love that.
Where do we take this?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I love that he's turned it into something positive. He's going to be there on Monday, so those of you, please go say hi to him. I'm sure he wants to meet all of you guys that are showing up for the father-son movie night.
Yeah, little Francesca, little Frankie's a pretty spectacular little pup too.
Well, Sheldon, I think where we go with this is, again. Big news in the on Sunday was this crash, and you're a flying guy. We talked, the Air Canada, I guess it was a Jazz Express flight, was cleared to land in LaGuardia, and I'm sure you've probably heard all the air traffic control radio traffic now. The air traffic controller cleared the fire truck to cross the runway, but instantly knew that it was bad, and he tried to get him to stop. And we had a crash.
Yeah, not only that, I don't know if you've got a chance to see it, but a Canadian company came out with the simulators and sort of reenacted it just to give people,
I did see that.
A look at what this looks like. Your plane's coming into land. You're cleared for landing. You touch down. You've got 6 mile visibility in the rain. 6 miles isn't a lot. It means it's kind of hazy and there's a lot of stuff going on. And how quickly things can happen. You know what gets me about this one? the folks working at LaGuardia are some of the most competent ATC people you're going to find anywhere in the country. In fact, I'll say they're the best of the best.
And it's got to be one of the largest airports in the U.S., right?
100%. Busiest airport in the U.S. You've got a couple of young pilots who absolutely did nothing wrong.
Yep.
It's one of those things. Like, what got me thinking, Chev, as you're listening to the ATC and he clears him to land, at the same time he switches over to ground, because when you're talking to the airplanes, you're talking to tower. This guy, it sounds like he was filling in for ground as well. Crossing airports, that's ground. This guy it sounds like he was facing multiple roles that night. There's two guys on duty, which is shocking.
I was going to say, and there was another emergency event
going on. It's not like the fire truck was just going for a joyride. They were trying to expeditiously get him from one part of the airport to another part of the airport. Chev, when we talk on the show, how many times have we said the wrong name? When I mispronounce a name during a poem or we stutter, that's why we ran late today. You make one mistake on the show, Trey gives us crap afterwards.
Yeah.
You make one mistake at an airport, and people can lose their lives. Mistakes happen every day at airports.
Yeah.
But in this case, someone lost their life, and what do you take away from this? What did you learn from this? What do you hope will be different next time you fly?
Well, I hope that I hope that they like what I'd like to know from this. And again, I don't know if it's been released, is, you could tell the air traffic controller is telling the fire truck to stop. Like, he said it about 3-4 times. I don't know at what point that did he tell them to stop before they started rolling? Did he tell them to stop while they're rolling? But why did they not answer? Was the signal blocked? Was the communication, was it not received? That's what I'd like to know. Is was it something technological? Was it something because of
100%?
The proximity to the airplanes, that there was interference? Not because they always talk about interference on the airplane, like you don't want to put on certain things. You can't.
Don't put on your phone. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But could there have been something to cause interference on the fire truck's radio? Because maybe they're not as stringent with the fire truck's radio communication systems, and maybe that's something that needs to be looked at.
Totally. And maybe he didn't hit the button to go to ground, or like, we don't know that, and we're not going to know that for a little while.
Yeah.
But what did come out is every airplane has what's called a transponder, which tells you where you're at, is transmitting a signal.
Yeah.
And they even have crash avoidance systems on the runway between airplanes. Both airplanes have transponders. The fire trucks didn't have a transponder.
Right.
So there's nothing triggering to say there's basically a void. There's another obstacle on this runway you're about to pass. The biggest thing for me, and what probably made the most sense, there might be more blame to assign as we go on, but this one just seems like it was an overworked guy who said the wrong thing at the right time and instantly tried to recover.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Let me say this one thing. So the same guys that did that simulator said something to me that sounded really smart. If you're at NASCAR, or if you're in an Indy race, and as soon as there's a crash, a red flag goes up and it signals everybody to make way. If you had the same thing where that airplane that was in distress on the other side of the airport, unrelated to the crash, right? Except the fire trucks were trying to get there before gases were released inside the cabin, or it burst into flames or whatever. You need a red flag that goes up that shuts down an airport. The pilots don't mind. It costs the airline like $20,000 for every go around that they do. A go around simply, runway's not clear. You have to go around. We'll reline you up, resequence you, and we'll get you in the ground in like 10, 15 minutes. If they had a system that would just automatically shut down an airport in the instance of an emergency, which I understand was going on at the other end of the airport, that could have made a difference. Am I blaming anybody for that not happening? No, because we haven't seen this before.
No. So let me ask you this. We talk a lot about AI, and we can make funny graphics with AI, and you can do a bunch of stuff, and AI is really taking over a lot of jobs that involves lots of processing. You talk about medical what is it when they make pills, like diagnoses, when they want to run trials on the medications, they just want to do it virtually as opposed to actually making the medications. Would this be a situation where you can run thousands, millions of scenarios through an AI software that can basically process this millions of times faster than human beings? Is this what we're going to see in the future, that AI might take over and be like, no, AI is going to run the air traffic controlling situation because we don't want to replicate that. Or is that kind of
look at Major League Baseball
mm.
right now?
This is not baseball. This is not strikes
controllers
involved.
are calling balls and strikes. Yes, they are. Ball,
okay.
Strike. Ball, strike. Cleared to cross, cleared to land. Hold short, runway 24 Delta.
Easy
right?
when it's easy, right?
Right.
Easy when it's easy right? When it's clear as day.
Yeah, when it's easy, it's easy. Yeah, totally. Now I've got to say that there's already people in companies that are working on this. And I think we're going to get to that point. You can't take the human element out of it, but you certainly could have assistance. For instance, like if you have chatbots that can instantly translate what you're saying to another person or instantly give you an answer based on your question to a website. Certainly AI, if AI was like the overlord monitoring this, it certainly could have said, reject that message, wait for further clearance. Like, that's coming. That's just around the corner. Because they can see things and process things faster than us.
Yeah, like the 7-second delay, like you say something wrong on the radio, it delays it from going through because it's like, no, that's going live. So yeah, no,
planes already have AI that don't allow you to do things to it that'll instantly crash the plane, right? Trucks do, buses do.
And when we tell these stories, again, the end of it is, a lot of people got hurt. 2 people died. And, it's interesting because in the last year, we have seen a few collisions in the New York area. There was I believe there was the airplane that struck the helicopter. And then I think there was another incident. There have been
Washington,
a few.
Yeah, totally.
In the eastern seaboard of the US.
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
fair enough. I thought it was in the river by New York. I thought there was one in the river. So yeah, no, but
that was Sully. Yeah, that was Sully.
No, that was a long time ago. Yeah,
great movie though.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, no, tough situation. Not fun. Sheldon, we mentioned in the poem, the internet is buzzing over. I don't know how it started. Maybe Trey can give us a cue in, but
I think we bring Trey in on this one.
The greatest sports franchise in Canada. And the great thing for me is I could just sit here, let you guys talk it all day, and I could just smile at the end because I know it's the Habs. But there are some people that will probably argue otherwise.
Okay.
But Trey, put up the graphic first. Put up the graphic first of how I guess I don't even know how it got to this. But this is the sports madness, and somehow the Edmonton Oilers,
bracket.
Yeah, it's a bracket.
Yeah, of course, it's a bracket.
I never saw the bracket.
And somehow the Oilers at the top, which is ridiculous. But let's go, Trey. Tell me how the Oilers wind up.
Hold on 1 second. You said the Habs were number one. First off,
number one.
Neither of these teams are number one. How do you figure the Habs are number one?
Sheldon. 24 Stanley Cups.
They do have a lot of Stanley Cups.
Dude. Okay, how long have the Habs
1993. 1993. There's
how
only
long, how long have the Habs been a franchise?
Hundreds of years.
100 years, probably.
At least 100.
And how many great Stanley Cups do they have?
24.
24.
Out of those 24 Stanley Cups, how many of those came in a league with 6 teams?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, dude, it does matter.
It does
it's
matter.
It's like winning in a ball hockey league.
No.
No, I'm serious. Like, if you're going to look at pro sport, I'm sorry, I've got a problem with that.
No, so you're right. You're right.
If you're going to call the best franchise in Canadian pro sport history, you're starting at 1960 or 1970. And here's what you're going to look at. The first thing that you're going to look at is franchise value. I didn't know you'd say something that's stupid, Chev. I love you, brother. But that was a dumb statement.
No, the Habs number one.
The first thing you look at, you know who the number one most valuable franchise in Canada is right now?
I think it's the Raptors.
It's the Raptors.
The Raptors are valuable.
Now, I'm going to say that doesn't make you the greatest. It just makes you the most valuable.
Yeah.
After that, you start going to who do the most people care about?
Montreal Canadiens.
And I'm not a huge Toronto fan by any means. In fact, I kind of resent anything out of Toronto. But you got to be looking at the Maple Leafs. And you got to be looking at the
50,
Blue Jays.
60-year drought.
No, there's no way. There's no way, Sheldon.
No, I'm not talking the greatest in terms of wins. I'm just talking about if you ask any Canadian, go across from Victoria out to Nova Scotia, name me a Canadian franchise. What are most people going to say? That's how I rank the top franchises.
I'll say Montreal Canadiens first. I mean, listen, in North America, in North America, the only franchise that I would say is greater than the Montreal Canadiens is the New York Yankees. So they have 28 championships. And I would also say there's a decent sized gap because the Yankees have been dominant more recently.
The Yankees were still the greatest even when they weren't dominant because they were the Yankees.
But
they were the most watched. They're the biggest supported. They sold the most jerseys. People traveled to New York like Mecca to watch them play.
You know, I love that the Riders are up there, but the fact that they're up against the Oilers, it's kind of tough. Trey, you
Look
just
at-
kind of
look at this.
Trey's
Look at
turn.
this.
Talk some
Look at
sense
this.
into the man.
They have the 2 best franchise players of all time. I think that's supposed to say with McDavid and Gretzky, and the most cups since they entered the league. So like really that, like, you know, the ball hockey league before 1967 doesn't count. They have the greatest team of all time, the best culture, the most like, I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the picture of Kobe Bryant walking out wearing a Wayne Gretzky jersey? Nobody's walking out wearing a.
Let me ask you
Austin
this:
Matthews
greatest
jersey.
franchise. Ask who the greatest franchise is. Who's the greatest? Who's the greatest hockey player of all time?
Wayne Gretzky.
Who's the greatest athlete of all time?
Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, good point. However, 10 years ago, Wayne Gretzky's name still would have come up with Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali. Right. He's the most iconic player to ever. One of the most iconic players to ever play a sport is Wayne Gretzky, and he will forever be identified with Edmonton
as a LA King.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not remembered as an LA King or a New York Ranger. Yeah. So no, I completely reject that the Habs were number one. I also don't think that the Oilers are number one.
What about the Jays? What about the Jays?
They're big.
Jamin's salty because the Jets didn't beat the Riders in the
What
bracket.
about the Samsons into the Canucks?
I would put the Jets at just under the Saskatchewan Roughriders for a loyal fan base. Let me make an argument. I just said the Oilers.
They didn't have a team for 10 years.
I just said the Oilers aren't the greatest franchise in Canada. Let me retract that for 1 second. If you look at what everybody says online, it's like Toronto, then it's the Habs. No, it's the Raptors, then the Leafs, then the Habs, then you get to the Oilers. Here's what I'm going to say. Toronto's obviously the biggest city in Canada, right?
Yeah, they got the numbers.
It's the only American-style city in Canada. Then you got Montreal's the second biggest and the oldest city in Canada. Yeah. Now you travel out west where most people don't know anything about Western Canada, let alone Edmonton, Alberta, other than Wayne Gretzky. Yet they have a franchise value of something like $2.3 billion. They sell more merchandise than
I feel like that's kind of a blanket
do.
statement. I feel like a lot of people know who the Oilers are now. Like they're by far the biggest team out west.
For a city of 1.3 million people, yeah. We're comparing them to city centers like Toronto, GTA greater area, 6.8 million, Montreal, 3.5 million. This little city of 1.2 million people have captured the hearts and imaginations of North America.
I don't know if they captured anyone's hearts.
But they don't capture. They don't capture just the city of Edmonton too. Like think of all the people in Saskatchewan cheer for them, and Southern Alberta, Vancouver, all the Northern Territories.
Yes, the Northern Territories don't identify with the Canadians.
You guys are doing a real hard sell job. You got to get more cups.
It's not a hard sell, dude. It's just
you got to get more cups. You got to not.
What do you mean more cups? They have more cups.
You got to get more cups. The Leafs got to stop.
The Leafs.
If we joined a 6-man league, if the Oilers joined a 6-man team,
and the Jays, and the Raptors,
we've got
the Expos.
We got
Leafs got to stop being.
We got Montreal Canadiens. We got New York. We got Pittsburgh. We got Chicago, and we got the Oilers. I'm pretty sure the Oilers will come up with 26 cups over the next.
Yeah, but you could also make an argument that when the Oilers were winning all their cups in this non-ball hockey league, all the best teams were in the East, and the Oilers had. I mean, granted, they had great teams, but they were going through the Flames. They were going through the Kings.
They were going through the Islanders. They were going through the Leafs. They were going through the Habs.
The Kings were a good team as well. The Jets were a good team.
I'm saying the past.
Don't even listen to that. We had
the past
Gretzky,
to get to those
Curry,
guys.
Messier, maybe the best captain.
No, I know. I'm not. Hey, listen. I'm not discounting your team.
Semenko.
I'm just saying,
Dr. Randy Gregg, Randy Moog. Come on,
I'm just saying. By the time you get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and you're playing a team like Montreal, you're playing the Islanders back in the day. You're playing any teams from the East. those guys have already beaten them up because the talent was so good out east in the late
the
70s.
Islanders won like
early
4
80s.
cups in a row before the Oilers.
But that's,
like, they're a
but
good
that's
team.
what I'm saying. Who did the Oilers have to go through to get to the finals? They probably didn't have like
the Flames. The Flames won a cup. The Kings went to the finals. The Jets were very good all the time.
Oh my
If
God,
we're talking
Vancouver-
dominance since 1970. If
Oh
we're
my
talking
God,
dominance
they
since
were all
1970,
expansion teams.
We're going Oilers,
the Flames were an
Riders,
expansion team. Come on, man.
Blue Jays,
They won a
Canadians
cup.
because they
Like,
have a
during the
couple of cups
Oilers'
since-
dominance, the Flames won a cup.
You
They
know
were
what,
a good team back in the
Trey?
day.
Listen, my sports knowledge in terms of stats and all that is about zero. I'm like that. If I was
Your
a cop,
sports
I'd go
sense
on
in
a
terms
hunch.
of greatness is like zero.
But all I know is that, which I don't even know, but I'm going to say this: when the Oilers came to the league, there was a bunch of teams coming in, a bunch of teams going out. The California Seals, blah blah blah. Flames moved up from Atlanta. A bunch of horse crap teams populated the West, and the team that happened to have the best players was steamrolled to the Stanley Cup Finals, healthy, unhurt. And you got in the East, you got Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers,
the Bruins
you got the
stunk.
Islanders, you got all these
happened
teams.
to have the best players. That was some of
And-
Peter Pocklington's best work, dude.
and
Give some credit to the Oilers here, man.
By
Like,
the
you understand the Flames won a cup during the Oilers' dominance.
yeah, they won a cup. Are you going to be one of those guys that's still hanging on
That's
to that?
good.
Come on, man. Come
That's
on.
good.
No, it was a
Like, you
nice
say
win.
they're
I'll put them
trash,
like
but
guys. They
what-
had a nice
what team
win.
from
I'll
the
put
East-
them up there
what
with the
team from
Montreal
the East
Canadiens
won a
and the
cup in
Toronto Maple
that
Leafs.
era.
Listen,
The Leafs
all-
didn't. The Habs didn't.
I'm
The
just saying.
Islanders.
Hey, the
threw, like,
Habs
one
won
in.
in
The Leafs
1985,
didn't.
86. Hey, Trey, listen. Habs won in
They
85,
threw-
86.
yeah,
They won in
they threw
93.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So they
And they were in the
Oilers had,
Cup
like,
final
6
in
more
89.
cups.
They were in the Cup final in 89.
And they lost to who? And they lost to who?
Yeah, who did this to the Flames?
I'll put the Habs up there with the. I will since 1970. I'll put the Habs up there with the Flames for sure.
Trey, please just remake the graphic with the Habs sign in the middle because
Zero
whoever
chance.
made
If
whoever
I
made
this
this,
graphic, it'd be the Riders would go on the other bracket, and then it'd be Oilers Riders 1 and 2
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. The two smallest teams in the world, and everybody loves them. That's what you guys are telling me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the greatest
Oh my
franchise.
God,
in the
Trey!
world.
What a point!
Yeah.
You put the Habs on the other side of the bracket, and they lost out in the second round.
Yeah,
100%.
they'd lose to the Riders. Yeah.
They'd lose to the Riders. 100%.
They would pound for pound.
Okay.
Absolutely, they would.
A
Okay,
province
okay.
of a million
Let's
people selling more jerseys. than the
Okay, so I
Montreal
know you're
Canadiens.
biased. I know
Like,
you
we're
guys
not
are
being
biased.
It's just the truth, Jay.
Dude,
Like,
and
the
I'm
you,
truth
biased.
you can get a Saskatchewan Roughrider,
Listen,
a poker set.
I'm
you
not-
can get a hat down in Puerto Vallarta that says
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can buy the
fair enough.
Riders in
Saskatchewan
India,
Roughriders.
dude. Like,
Dude,
you
oh,
can't-
the
yeah.
reach of the Riders
Yeah.
way.
But
beyond.
let me ask you this. You take out the Oilers, you take out your beloved Riders, you got the Habs head to head with the Leafs. Who are you picking?
The Habs. Who cares? I changed the channel.
No, I'm talking about who of the best sport franchise in Canada. If you're picking between those two,
Change the channel.
so you're not even going to pick someone.
Now, can we defer
It's
to the second
irrelevant.
half?
Yeah, it's just because you guys are scared of the
That's
Stanley
no,
Cup.
okay, so they lose in the
we're
second.
Western.
They lose.
I
One
get it.
loses in the
Western
second round.
Canadians
One
versus
loses in the
Eastern
third round.
Canadians.
You're
Like,
scared
yeah.
of
I would give the Habs because I like them more than I like the Maple Leafs.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
probably
move on.
Wait. Can we talk about the Stamps versus the Canucks? There, are you guys a little offended, or not at all? Or the
Well,
Stamps?
let's
not
take a
that
look.
much?
Point me out. Where's that?
They're at 10 and 23 in the top right there.
And the Canucks.
NHL is a bigger league. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I love the Stamps. That horse is everything.
It's way
It's been
cooler
around
than
longer
the
than the
Canucks.
Canuck.
You know what? It's way cooler than the Canucks symbol. You can't even tell what that is. It's dumb. It's a stupid whale with a C. Stamps is way cooler. Stamps could have at least gone head to head with the Senators. And the
Oh,
Argonauts.
they would have surpassed the Senators.
I mean-
Argonauts, they probably could have beat the Argonauts.
Argonauts is the oldest franchise in all of North America. They should,
Yeah, but are they the greatest? Like nobody even
Yeah.
hardly watches them anymore. That's
probably not.
the state of Toronto.
Okay, let's what about Edmonton? If they remained the Eskimos, because the minute they switched to Elks, they lost all their aura, as the kids would say. Like there's no more aura in Edmonton.
No.
Like
The Eskimos are gone until they bring them back.
like they just hold a special place on the shelf collecting dust.
Not even they have to start. They have to forge their own path now. Even
What
for
about the Ottawa Renegades?
Josh Ronick,
I
baby?
just realized I missed like 20 comments here, and oh my god, I
Yeah,
got
there
everybody
people are
fired up.
battling here. I love it.
I love it. What's
Why is this a comment? Reagan's losing his mind.
Yeah, totally.
So Reagan knows
Culture.
that.
Daryl's getting mad at me saying the Oilers have culture. Well, what about the other 40 years of their?
Hey, why?
Hold on.
Why-
Daryl can't say there's no culture.
Hey,
There's absolutely a culture.
What
There's a
happened
winning
today?
culture there.
In fact, you know what? This, Daryl, I thought you were like pulled for the underdog in adversity. Dreisaitl's out. This is about to forge the Oilers into the playoffs in 2026.
We mean
man.
no culture.
We don't even know what they're made of yet. We're
The
about
Oilers
to
have
find out.
had 17 head coaches in the last 5 years.
What?
They
They've
got
had
your
two.
more head coaches.
They've had two in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Woodcroft and Knobloch. Get your facts right.
What happened to what's his name from that was there from Pittsburgh? Todd McClellan. When was he?
No,
That was 10 years ago.
McClellan used to be the
That
coach
was
of the
literally 10 years
Saskatchewan
ago.
North Stars. My buddy Cozy played for McClellan in with the North Battleford North Stars. He's a junior hockey coach that's done some great things.
Trey, I feel like you have revisionist history, like that competes with my revisionist history.
Of course.
So
I'm
let me
always
be
gonna
the
battle with you
tiebreaker.
on
Then
this,
let
Chevy.
me be the tiebreaker. Oilers. I prefer the Habs to the Leafs, and I think they got a more loyal fan base and a strong brand. But yeah, Oilers first, Riders second, Habs, Leafs, Raptors,
Thank
Blue
you,
Jays.
Sheldon. Thank you. Put some
Yeah,
sense back into
I don't agree with
East
that.
Coast.
I'll say Habs, I'll say Oilers, I'll say Leafs, and then I'll say Riders. And
Why would you say
I-
Habs? What Habs? Are a
Habs
good
number one.
team. Habs.
24 cups, baby. That is a ghost of the old Montreal Forum. You can't even compete with
Ghosts.
that. You-
Ghosts.
listen, you go to the Montreal Bell Center, you get a feeling that comes over you like you wouldn't even experience anywhere else in this world.
Yeah, but
the only,
Yeah, I
like-
feel like the New York subway. You touch things and it's like
probably
I don't
the
wanna-
only
Make
place
sure you
the
wash
only-
your hands before you touch your face.
the
That's what
only
I feel
place
the
you
old
might
Forum.
feel something like that is if you went to Green Bay to the old Lambeau Field, maybe Yankee Stadium.
The old Coliseum in Edmonton, where the Oilers won back-to-back Stanley Cups. That's where I'd get that feeling.
No, I think we stayed at the hotel there when we played for Edmonton, and the feeling you get is bed bugs. Bed bugs. That's what you get in Edmonton. Bed bugs. Like I got in St. Paul this weekend. By the way, speaking of St. Paul, my son Kyle, guys, I drove up to St. Paul,
Oh, I
Alberta.
don't have any pictures. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll
I
pull up your
know,
Instagram.
because we sucked.
I'll pull up
St.
your
Paul, Alberta, Kyle and his Northwest Warriors U15 one body contact team went up. They made provincials. They qualified. They didn't win the cities, so they got knocked out cities. But because they were so good during the regular season and rewarded for how well they played during the season, they and another Calgary team went up to provincial, St. Paul, Alberta, about 6 hours away, and they took the whole thing. And I can't say anything except for how proud I am of the kids. They were undersized compared to some of these teams like from Beaver Lodge and Grand Prairie and Fort Mac. Little on the team that play like they're like tiny, but these little guys, they play like they're 6'5". And I told them, well, then you would have been proud of me.
Yeah.
Coach, I speak to them. And I talked to them about I read the verse from Courage. I told them there's a great Canadian poet named Gord Downey, and he talks about courage. And he said, you know, gosh, I don't even know. I had it written in front of me.
Well, first off, only you could turn your son's win into a great thing that you did.
No, not that I did.
But I will.
Jerk.
I'm just kidding.
No, but I was talking to them about
in my books, this team ranks above the Montreal Canadiens.
Fair enough.
Awesome story.
But what
You
I was
had me
telling
at
these
David
kids-
versus Goliath.
What I was
me
telling
taking
these
on
kids-
Beaver Lodge. I have tripped pipe on a service well in Beaver Lodge.
Look at that,
Alberta.
2 seconds left.
I know what a
2
tough
seconds
time
left.
that is.
Watch the victory. Watch the victory. Last face-off of the game. There they are against Red Deer, facing the Red Deer Chiefs. Sheldon, I thought you would have been proud of my courage speech and how I wrapped it up. Wrapped it
I'm
into.
trying to watch the freaking game, Chevy.
Just watch. I watched it. They win.
Oh, I love that small town arena horn.
Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool.
But yeah, no, just I
Nicely
thought they
done.
played with tremendous courage. In the semifinal game, they were down 2-0, And they came back. It was great because one kid decided on the other team to punch one of our guys in the face like 4 or 5 times. He got a double minor with a 10 minutes misconduct. We scored during the first minor.
What's your team?
And then we scored during the
member do
second.
back?
Nothing. He stood there and he gave him the Conor McDavid and
That's how
Conor
Canada-
McGregor. This kid right here, coming right here. This is Sawyer coming, and his dad does at our mental health movie night. Sawyer Bint. He took 3 punches straight to the face in front of the ref. Didn't do a thing. The guy got two minor penalties and 10-minute misconduct. We scored on both to tie it, and then we just kept going and going and going. And at the end of the game, when we were up, and that other team was pushing it. That was the Beaver Lodge team. Push it. Like if with 2 minutes left, they could have scored 2 goals. That's how good they were. Captain and assistant captain for the other team, both. One guy cross-checks our guy in the face. The other guy cross-checks our guy from behind after the play. 2 guys in the box, 5-on-3. We played keep away for 2 minutes. It was a thing of beauty, man. It was a thing of beauty. These kids, so good, kept their heads, played hard. And that last game, like their resolve to finish was unbelievable. And when I said the courage thing, the reason I said it is because I told these little guys, especially the small guys on the team, you go hit the biggest guy on the other team. That's not courage. That's stupidity. The first time you do it, it's you're dumb, but now you know how it feels. You know how it hurts. It's when you keep doing it. That's where the courage is. When you make those decisions that puts your team first. And it was cool to watch. Man. I stayed in the most disgusting hotel I've ever stayed in, Sheldon. When I decided to go, the only thing that was available was the St. Paul Lodge. It's exactly what you think it would be. But I had a great time.
Yeah, there you go. I've stayed at the BMI in Beaver Lodge, so I know what those guys where they come from and what they're made of. So that's a good win. So let me guess, this was your speech. So the Tragically Hip, this was your speech.
Yeah.
Wash the band through a bunch of dancers.
No, I didn't hit that part.
Not that part.
No. The part that I read to them, and then I kind of expanded on it, was that there's no simple explanation for anything important that any of us do. And yeah, the human tragedy consists of the necessity of living with the consequences under pressure. And then I said, he says, courage, my word, it didn't come. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And because I think courage is not something you wait for. It's not something that happens. It's not something that grows. It's a choice. And you have to live with the consequences of that choice. And I told him the consequence is not necessarily a bad thing, because consequences of a choice mean you have agency over what happens. It means that when you're out there, it's not this random thing that happens. You can make choices that affect the outcome of the game and affect the consequences. And those choices could be the choices to do the right thing mentally, the right thing physically, and the right thing emotionally. And then I brought up the courage that kid had for not punching back. The courage of the little guys hitting the biggest guys on the team, and the courage of the goalie deciding when should I cover the puck and when should I play it. And those are all courageous decisions that bring you closer to a cup. And when you're a captain and assistant captain of the team with 2 minutes left and your team has to score, and you go and cross-check a guy in the face and then go hit another guy from behind and put your team down, that's a lack of courage.
I had this argument with a guy that's watching the show right now, a season or two ago, with the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs. They had a chance to win. And the same thing, cross-check to the face, and he retaliated over the top and got the penalty. And my position was this, dude, it's the playoffs. You take the cross-check to the chicklets. You turn around and let him take the call. He's like, no, you got to stand up for your teammates and show them that how tough you are. That's regular season. Game 37, yes. Game 5 of the playoffs, nope.
So you're saying that a 15-year-old showed more courage than a professional athlete in that moment?
Not only more courage, more poise, more smarts, more game sense. And he's a guy that's been there before and will be there again because he just showed his poise on the ice. I love it.
Well, I don't know if Morgan Bint, his dad, is watching. He'll be at the mental health night, but I know Sawyer Bint, of all those kids, he'd be my stud of the week. He'd be my stud of the week. So lots going on. I don't know if there's more to talk about. I mean, a couple of big NFL signings. I know Trey really wants to celebrate that Jackson Smith in Jigba signed, highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. We talked about that in Poem. What is he making there? Is that $118 million a year?
$42.15 million a year. The highest paid.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of money.
Well,
That
it's
is a
perfect. Like the guy he just won Offensive Player of the Year. He causes no drama, Super Bowl champion.
No
like,
drama.
Worth every,
I like that. I like that.
worth every penny. Absolutely.
Well, they lost their running back, so they had to make a splash, right? They had to make sure. Now,
okay.
In contrast, what did Travis Kelce sign? Because initially he signed a 3-year deal. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, they're paying."
It was a 1-year deal with some.
A 1-year
options.
deal
It was
with
like
some
$12
options.
million or something.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's like $12 million, I think. But yeah, he's probably done after the next.
Still
year,
good
but,
money. Still good money. And
I think he was done after 2 seasons ago, to be honest. But
yeah,
I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna watch him. I want him to do great things.
Yeah.
This is like Tyson coming back. I want
You know
to
what?
do great things.
I mean, it's tough when you have an off year towards the end of your career, because then people think you're washed. But it was great to see 2 years ago when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. He took over that game in the second half. Like, he was the guy that changed the tide of that game. And I think he still has that ability. I think last year was a real distraction year for him.
Yeah.
Maybe this is that year where he's like, you know what? I want to put one good one under my belt. Like, I want to show everyone that I'm going to come back. I'm not going to have a drop like I did against San Francisco? He had a couple of drops. Who did he have a few big drops against?
He had a few.
Or Buffalo. Who did they?
At the end, but
here's
my thing. If I for $12 million, if I get nothing more than Corey Perry out of him, I'll take him. And he's got more in his tank than that for sure. He's still got the amazing hands. He can still fight a guy and get open. He's got a lot he can offer. But for $12 million, as long as he's not holding the offense back from evolving, we're good.
But he had just signed, if I'm not mistaken, a huge deal. I thought it was like last year trade. Didn't he sign a big deal last year or 2 years ago? Like a big 5-year deal. I thought he had signed. This might be just a top up. This might be a top up. And obviously a lot of that salary counts against future. That's how they kind of hide the money from the cap and stuff. But you know what? Good for the Chiefs.
True.
He's a role guy. He's not going to be the guy. As Sheldon, you mentioned, they picked up some major weapons in the offseason. They got, unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes is going to be injured, and I think
they got Fields.
Yeah. Did you really say that? Why does everyone say that about this guy? How many shots is Justin Fields gonna get before people realize he's terrible?
Well, somebody's got to replace Mahomes, and there's not a lot of good backups anymore. So
Tom Brady,
probably the best one.
I think.
Did you see him in the flag football? He looked pretty good. Actually,
he looked pretty damn good. Guys, before we go, I don't think we were going to go on this. I don't know if any of you did. You guys watch Pierre Poilievre on Joe Rogan? Did you guys happen to watch that?
We're saving it. We're going to be watching it one of these nights. Amanda had her birthday this weekend, and we never got to it. But I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do any spoilers. For me, I don't care. Everyone knows. I don't know if they know, but I voted for Pierre Poilievre. Of course I did. And I voted him maybe because he was the alternative. I kind of didn't appreciate the
guy's freaking brilliant.
Dude. And that's what I was going to say. When you watch this, I don't think you could have prepared that much for this interview. The way he
never has prepared. Here's what's getting me about
smart. He's smart.
So smart, and he's so on it. Everybody's, you know what? Here's what happened: is our Canadian media that's paid for by the Liberal Party told us, well, he's mini Trump, and all of us were saying, no, he's not Trump light.
No,
he's
and
a guy that thinks on his feet. He's a Canada First guy.
I never even thought that.
He got rejected for Canada First because Mark Carney. He never had a shot in the election. He got bamboozled by the media. They're saying, oh my God, he's changed. He's saying things differently now than he did before. No, he hasn't. If anything,
he's saying the same things. But I tell you what I really appreciated about this is it seems like you got to know him, kind of like he was sitting on the ride, chatting with a guy. It starts off with his love of kettlebells and training. They talk politics. Obviously, they talk politics in and out, but a lot of the portion of the interview at the end was actually him interviewing Joe Rogan, talking about UFC and fighting. And you realize just how curious this guy is. And I really love that. He talks about the Apple ad. He when he was chewing the apple. And
did he talk about his autistic kid, his nonverbal autistic kid that spoke
he did not.
First words 2 year ago or about a year ago?
He did not.
I watched an interview with that where I almost broke down in tears. Yeah. This guy Poilievre has gotten a rough shake in this country called Canada. Nobody knows him. And I'm glad that an American podcast host gave him a shot to show him what this guy really was.
And you know what I hope? you know what I hope I was going to say? I hope it helps within the conservative base to solidify their support of him, because there was a bit of questions.
No, there wasn't.
People,
no, there
for
wasn't.
a while there was.
No, the only in Ontario and only in Quebec. The
But
rest
I
of the
think
conservative
this
base knows this guy and they love him.
Yeah, no, I love him too. And for me, just he came across as to me a really likable guy from how I view likable people.
He grew up about 15 minutes from where I live. Like, he's born in Calgary. But his parents were teachers up in Spiritwood, northern Saskatchewan. He lived in Spiritwood, which is, we played volleyball against those teams. Hell, I might have played volleyball against him, except he's a few years younger than me. I'm glad he got his shot on I sound like I'm really trying to carry his mail right now, and I apologize for that. I've just been a fan of his for about the last 10 years. And I'm surprised that people are only getting exposed to it now, but it's only thanks to American media, not Canadian media, because Canadians were still trying to suppress who this guy was.
Yeah, and possibly, but I mean, I gave him a shot because I voted for him, but I didn't. I don't need to take time to meet them and learn about them, but it's sort of happened. I was listening to Ben Mulrooney on it was on a Wednesday, and he talked a little bit about it. He said, yeah, no, he came across well. He and I said, you know what, I'm going to listen. And I've never listened to the Joe Rogan podcast. I've seen some clips here and there. I said, I'm going to take this on my drive to St. Paul. It was a 4-hour drive or 5-hour drive from Red Deer. And I knew I had to have the time to listen to it. And I'm telling you, I was really amazed with his level of curiosity and intelligence. Like, I feel like if Pierre Poilievre was going to talk on a CFL show, he'd know so much about the CFL. And if he was going to talk about Trey's Oilers, he'd know so much. Like, he just seems to be that guy that knows a lot about a lot. And I like that in a leader. I like that, someone that's curious. Like Joe Rogan was talking about a treatment for addictions. They were kind of they were on basically trying to help people fighting addictions and addiction centers and all that. And Joe was talking to him about this treatment that's done in Mexico. I think it's with the hallucinogenics and stuff. And Pierre was like, oh, I never heard of that. I really want to learn about this. This is something I'm going to learn about. He didn't discount it. He didn't flippantly just listen to the guy and switch subjects. He literally sounded like, oh, I'm going to bring this back to my people. I'm going to research this. If this is something, and I love that. Like, he's an open-minded guy, and I love that. I like what he stands for, and I thought
you know what else he said. One of the sound bites, I did see a couple of, like, the clips or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the things that he said was, as politicians, we're expected to have answers and strong takes on every policy position. He says, but if you interviewed the Manitoba farmers or the BC coal miners or the people up in Nunavut during COVID, when they watched the government printing money and handing out stimulus checks, and all of the academics were saying, no, this is fine. The government can withstand it. You're with your 12.5% of your GDP. This is going to be fine. And every simple person was saying, no, that's not fine.
Yeah.
This is going to be inflation. This is going to make my paycheck worthless. This is going to increase what I have to pay every month. And you're doing this for the people in Toronto. Now, suddenly me in Nunavut, I'm going to have to pay more. My family's in trouble because of what you're doing to buy votes. And he said every academic supported Canada's policy, and every simple person says this obviously is wrong. And which ones were right? The uneducated people that they said don't vote for Liberals are right every single time. Education does not mean intelligence or smarts. It means you went to a university and got a piece of paper.
Yep. No, I agree. There, slam it. Sheldon slams it.
All right. Well, sorry for that strong take, folks. I am looking forward to seeing that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
The other thing we're not getting to tonight, and we'll talk about it maybe next week. Did you guys hear about that? All 4 amputations. What's that called when you have all limbs amputated? Quadriplegia. All limbs amputated. This guy is a professional cornhole player in an American league. Just shot his buddy while driving a Tesla down a U.S. road. Shot a passenger he got in a fight with. Guys, we can't talk about this one tonight, but I want you guys to do your homework.
You can't make this up.
Craziest story I've ever heard. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. I don't know.
Yeah,
what do you think?
but I don't know. Yeah, you talk about being up a creek without a paddle. Be hard to paddle if you were in that guy's situation, eh? And then you talk about shooting his buddy, and it's just weird. It's weird when the headlight came up.
Weird.
It's like
It's creepy, is what that is. It's creepy.
yeah, it wasn't on my bingo card the other day when that came up. An armless, legless guy, that's the cornhole champion, shot his buddy and killed him. Like, yeah, it's weird. Just
Wild.
Wow.
Wild things happening. Anything else going on? Any movies? I mean, obviously Top Gun Maverick on Monday. We talked about Alan Richardson. He's got a good movie.
The War Machine.
War Machine's a good movie. If you have not seen the what is it? The Department of Ungentlemanly Warfare, you have to watch that movie. It's on Amazon. It's so good. It really is good. He's in quite a few good movies. Anything else coming out? Oh, big movie out these days. I don't know if you guys heard of it. The Operation Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling.
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary. A space movie.
I heard it's really good. Really good.
Everyone, I read the early reviews because I'm kind of a film guy. Everyone said this might be a masterpiece of a movie, and everyone that I know that have seen it so far said it's one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
My son Luke saw it. He said it's right up there with the movie Sinners. He saw Sinners earlier in the year, and he said that this is a great movie. It's really well done.
Sinners.
I haven't seen that one either, but it won a bunch of Academy Awards last
Michael B.
week.
Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. So he won the best actor, right? For that. So that's a big deal. Boys, we're gonna see each other on Monday.
Well done.
No impromptu shows like last week.
No, I don't
Did we
think
get
so.
did we get our
See what
fix?
happens? Yeah, we don't know what's happening in the news cycle yet, right? Like if we got to get together, we got to get together.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But you know what, guys, thanks for joining us every week. You guys make it fun for us to come on the air and interact with you. The comments, the takes, Trey there pushing the buttons. You do a great job. Sheldon being the counterpart to me. But again, the community we formed. We got this live event coming up next week. We know it's going to be awesome. Getting Dino on the show tonight. He was a fantastic guest. Come out and share with us his story of tragedy and triumph. And then all of you, hopefully we're going to see you next Monday at the Father-Son Movie Night. Remember, scan the QR code, RSVP, email Daryl. We got food. We got dudes hanging out. We got movies. We got snacks. We got speakers. There's prizes. I didn't even mention. We got, 2 WestJet tickets? Raffle prize anywhere, WestJet
really?
prize. Yeah, we got lots going on. You're gonna meet Frankie. Come and meet Frankie. Everybody wants to meet Frankie, and you'll see Trey. See how his stash is doing. Again, guys, every week, Sideline Sports Network, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and then Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Guys, great week. I hope we see everyone there. Sheldon, you bringing the kids?
Bringing both of them.
Yeah, I think my boys are coming too. I think they all cleared their schedules for this, so I'm pretty excited. You guys are going to meet the mutants. Trey's going to meet the mutants for the first time, so it'll be good.
Maybe we'll be best friends.
Maybe. All right, folks.
Okay.
Who wants the last word? Trey, you give the last word.
Okay. Looking forward to see you all on Monday. And go Oilers, big win, and we're the most iconic franchise. Have a good night.
Ole.
Up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I could taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And sooner or later